Good evening, Jace.
Good evening, Shawn.
Hey, I noticed you're on Jace sounds like he's on about a half a second delay, so he was. I can hear it reverbing
Oh,
through his end. So there we go.
weird. Awkward.
No worries. Yeah, exciting show tonight. 143, ready to go. Jake wondering if he made it in the top four. A lot of people wondering about that. A lot of people wondering about that. So one of the topics tonight, Jace, we're going to cover off here. We got typical last
You
week in
betcha.
Legion. Jace played a game here in studio. I played 2 games in the league. So we'll definitely talk about that. We're also going to talk about the league itself. All finished. We are done the 6 rounds. For better or for worse, if you didn't get all your games in, I was unable to get my last game in. So first game in the league that I didn't get in, I got 4 out of 5. But we are all finished. We are going to do the top 4 playdown. That'll basically conclude from now till the end of the month, and then season 2 starting on November. So on the Discords, if you're wanting to get in, want to re-get in, or want to join for the first time, we'll have a bunch of information up about that. We'll share all that information. You guys can figure that out, and we'll start in season 2 November. So we'll do November. I don't know. I think it's like the first is actually a Tuesday, so we'll do a league launch on that day. So if you are wanting to get in, do not delay. We'll tell you how to do that, and you guys can get in to the league. Um, we'll also talk about a couple AMG units that are released, just basically telling you that they're released, what they are. We do not have them in hand yet. I secured mine. They're at the store, but of course, the store that I'm getting all the Legion stuff from is about a 5.5 hour round trip for me. But nonetheless, they treat me well, so I continue to support them. So thanks, Dragon Den Games, for the help. So they're also great about getting us all the extra goodies and things that we need to do giveaways and all that other stuff. So they don't give us the stuff to give away. I buy the stuff for giveaways, but they give us a good deal. And so we like to reciprocate that to you guys. Of which, by the way, Jason, on the Discords today, I saw some people were posting up some goodies that they got from the studio. So that's cool. Yeah, I saw some altards posted up today. I seen Jake got some gamers grass. So just so you
Sweet.
guys know, we say we do giveaways. People get those giveaways. I love when they share them. That helps us to reciprocate that out, so people know that we don't just have empty promises here. So we will get to all of the chatter that's happening in chat. We'll get there, and then lastly, and I'll give Jace a chance to catch us up on his week before his week in Legion, but basically his week. But we are also going to do a new segment that we'll introduce this week. We may do it weekly, depends. So it's a pretty in-depth breakdown, or it could be. We're just calling it "Make It Better." So you send us a list, and we make it better. So tonight, Anthony's the sacrificial lamb. He sent us a list that we're gonna make better. So we should have picked his dynamic exit list, because we could have made that one way
Yeah,
better. But
we should have gone with that one.
we did not. Sadly, we did not. So Jace, why don't you do all the shout outs in chat? Who we got going? Who we got in there tonight?
Yeah, you bet. So I heard Bernard was in there and just missed out on top spot because he was too busy hitting that thumbs down arrow. So
Yep.
yep, serving right. Tom Walker's in here, ready to talk about hot dogs. Mr. Whitty's here, and he likes boiling them. We've also got Anthony, as the chat has said, Psych Dog is in here, and Patrick from Belgium is here. Good to see our European friends. Ben from Dice Time checking on in, as well as Andrew, and I think that's all that I can see.
Yeah, we got Sean Death checking in here, just late
Sean Death
comer
as
in there.
well.
So yeah.
There we go.
Tom,
Yep, there he is.
we've not seen the exclusive Grogu's, but I am working some back channels right now, attempting to get some in here. And if I can acquire more than one, you never know, it might find its way to the Christmas special. So there's that. And if I can only find one, you never know, that might make its way to the Christmas special too. So
Sean's making some deals, trading some spice. We'll see what happens.
yeah, I mainly deal in spice. Cumin and cinnamon are my favorite ones to trade in there. So a little sage and occasionally some basil too. So
Oh,
just
there we go.
raided the
Basil.
spice rack upstairs. So yeah, yeah, it's just craziness. So I mean, I think Grogu's going to be tiny.
Just
I
two
wonder how many
pieces.
people are going to lose Grogu. No. What are you kidding me? This is
Yeah.
AMG. It's going to literally be like 17 pieces. So, each ear is separate. So, and pupil, you probably have to glue the pupils in separately. So, nutmeg. Okay, yeah, there. Tom's suggesting they got a little
I
mix a
I
little
only
nutmeg in
deal in
there.
the truest form of spice of
Yeah,
salt.
yeah. That's
That's the
that.
only form of spice I deal with.
There was a lot of salt in dynamic exit game. Anthony was rich with salt, rich with salt. So, and he knows it. So we're not even giving you any false
Oh yeah.
facts here. So, yeah. So we'll get into all the things. So, Jace, what was your week like? Not your week in Legion, but what were you up to this week?
Oh, well, this week was fun. I got to start the last of my four main modules for school, so that's nice. Get to go right back into that homework grind. But then after that, the next two are just prep for the big exam next year.
Okay, yeah, a lot of prep. Awesome. I was in a PD session all day today, and I'm in another PD session tomorrow. It's cool. It's called building thinking classrooms, and it's really kind of neat. It's literally about using erasable vertical surfaces to do work. And so today I was just working on a lot of math problems. Solving little problems with really a random group of people, and it was crazy how fast the time went today, and that was part of the whole concept. So really cool. So I was nerding out doing learning my actual job, and tonight I'm going to nerd out and learn about the hobby side of things. So but it was super fun. So that's it's always fun when you can have fun doing work things. So all right, well let's talk about some more fun stuff. We'll hit the social medias, token updates. I'll do a little Patreon update in there. Then we'll get into our last week in Legion. We'll hit some sponsors. We'll do some FNF highlights. We'll make sure we hit our donors. We'll talk about the league, get into that, get into the news, get into the Make It Better segment, and if we got time, we'll get into roundtable. So we have a lot to cover tonight. So, all right, Jace, where can people find us if they haven't already found us, if they aren't one of the 16 people hanging out? So,
You bet. So if you're not watching the Terrain Studio YouTube channel, you should be. So good for all of you guys. But also check us out on Facebook at Star Wars Legion Friday Night Fights, Twitter and Instagram at Legion_FNF, and of course, for all of your terrain needs, and if you want to see the super cool Shire project that's happening right now, as well as any past projects on the wall, check out the Terrain Studio Patreon.
yes, definitely. And if you guys like those giveaways, that's literally what funds all of the things. Believe it or not, this podcast makes $0, but we do rely on our donators to help us out to run the all the things, and the Patreon stuff is what covers off all the postage for all your goodies that you guys get. So if you like those, and I do put little letters in them, thank you letters, and all those things. So I do appreciate people helping us out. So if you're looking for the token update, I thought I was going to get them today. Unfortunately, they didn't. We did a postal check right before the show. They weren't in the mail today, but I assume sometime between now and next Tuesday, I should have these in hand. So we'll go ahead and show you guys what those look like, and then you guys will know how to do them. We'll figure out the cost structure because I got to figure out quantities, and then we'll let you guys know. But I'm eager to see them. Love to see what they look like, and can't wait to get my own set. I will get them when you guys get them, basically. So, as Jace already mentioned, the studio I am starting on the Shire project. So, just cutting a bunch of foam. It'll be pink foam for a while. I will tell you that right now. Believe it or not, these kind of projects here really don't start to take shape and look like actual wargaming tables until near the end steps. It's all the pre-work that goes into it. It'll probably take a month and a half to probably build all the substructure, and probably about 2 hours to cover it in grass. Not even kidding you on some of those steps. But the details and all the fun bits, all the scratch building of the hobbit holes. I'm not going to be 3D printing anything for this table. In terms of the hobbit holes, everything's going to be handcrafted. So that's going to be part of the fun project. There is other hobbit projects out there, but there won't be one like this. So if you guys want to follow along, that is going to be the place to do so. All right, Jace, the moment we've all been waiting for. At least I have been. What was your last week like in Legion?
My last week in Legion consisted of one very fun, not salty game of Dynamic Exit.
Oh, I should just. I'll bring up the highlight screen. You can talk,
Oh
and
yeah.
we'll just have that on there. So go ahead.
So we tried out for the first time. None of us had ever played this before, the Dynamic Exit scenario, which I thought was a very fun take on skirmish, with one side having to defend and getting caught in the night, and the other side having to find a secret objective and try to beat them on like a power generator and make it to the end zone. It was very interesting how it puts a lot of pressure on one player to do everything and the other one just has to try to react. But it was a very different take on Legion that I thoroughly enjoyed playing, and you should definitely all check out the episode if you want to see the salt flow.
Yeah. There is a green screen up there. I did not put the extra video up. I actually forgot about that, but I will have that video clip. I thought about that when I was preloading the show tonight, but we'll get that up for you. It's basically just a breakdown of the rules. OS Dad Anthony, courtesy of him, typed up all the information, so it was a nice copy paste version for me to move it over. Had some basically clarifications already built into the description, which was nice. Anthony pointing out trying to react with 2 units. I agree. Anthony's list really did make it difficult for him.
Yeah,
so
that did not help him.
It was a combination of not knowing the type of list to build, and really none of us had any strategy. It basically developed halfway through the game, and we talked more about it afterwards. So Jace and I talked off camera about maybe playing 2 or 3 reps ourselves, and then maybe giving this another whirl where we're kind of more in the flow and a little less learning the rules as you go, and a little bit more focus on the strategy. So Tom saying he generally loved this game, very different, and can't wait to have a game himself. Yeah, for sure. I agree. I would like to see it a couple more times. We are still going to do the Dianoga. I have the Dianoga sitting right in front of me, courtesy of Donovan. So we will do that scenario as well. And I think that one's quite crazy. I kind of want to make that one sort of like linked to maybe even a little bit of a donation episode, very, very small micro donations. But I think that if we do that and have a way to influence how the game is going, like if you want to have the Dianoga trigger again, boom, this donation says that's happening. So I think there'll be a really crazy way to make that game ridiculously fun, and I want to get that concept out there. So like I said, micro donations just to have your kind of say in the game, I think would be super fun. Let us know in chat if that sounds to be interesting. But I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. I like seeing this table out every single time. It plays super fun, and I thought the theme of the sort of scenario fit this table quite nicely as well. So yeah. Tom, you're not wrong about all the suppression. Absolutely all the suppression. So anyway, that's episode 70 in the books. You guys can go check that out. It is up on the Terrain Studio YouTube channel for sure, so go check that out. Let us know what you think. If I can, for a few minutes, I'll break down maybe my week in Legion. So obviously I cast that game. I did not play, but I did play I think I played Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, Saturday, Sunday both. I was playing. Who did I play? I played Canadian Bear on Saturday. I played JD on Sunday. I was supposed to play Justice on Thursday, but there was a last-minute cancellation. No harm, no foul. We didn't get a chance to reschedule that. Obviously, Thursday I played Saturday. I played Sunday. League ended Sunday, so they're short of Friday, which I couldn't because we're casting. So I didn't have a time to reschedule that one. So I only missed one game in the whole league, but yeah, I had fun in all of them. So yeah, for sure, Justice. We got season 2 starting in November. So I play Canadian Bear. I described it as a David Attenborough documentary series, Spider Meets Snail, because that's basically what happened. His snails versus my spiders. It was an intercept on the Felucia table. By the way, hate the mushroom on that Felucia table. The large mushrooms, really super annoying, especially with battle droids. And I think everyone shares that frustration. At least I did. I also agree, Bernard, it does attack a lot, but that is part of the scenario, I think. So there is I think there is some fixes in that scenario, but as is, it's crazy. So anyway, Graham and I squared off. He has lots of things in his list, his droid list, in the form of commandos. So he has 3 saboteurs, which is really, really bad. Not that it affects me from the Dioxis, but just bombs are generally pretty good at killing B1s. As I said, we played Intercept. I took the stronger side. I played that same side against JD on the same table, ironically, and basically squared off. My spiders shut down one of his snails and never moved for the whole time. Excuse me. And I kept shooting. At one point, I think I had 3 ion tokens on it. So it just didn't get any actions. I broke it, so I had to roll for 2 actions. So I had 3 ions and had to roll for 2 actions, which meant it had like -2 actions. I said basically it was on its shell, kicking its little feet there. So It died. He brought his other snail up basically in my face, but I was able to get around in the side arc a couple times and was um, get some kills on there. Graham is in chat right now and saying that we could not make red saves. No, unfortunately though, his red saves in his commandos were all the first red saves of the game, and
Ooh.
they dropped really really fast. He had I think maybe 3 bombs or so out, and when I removed his last saboteur, which I was unable to kill with a spider, but then randomly got a B1 shot off to kill it. Then he had to pick up those bombs and couldn't get them off the table. But no, he's not wrong. The Magna Guard started to fail their saves, but early heals kept them all alive. I was able to pile on to the objectives. He scored in turn 2. I scored in turn scored 2 points in turn 2. I scored back the points in turn 4. Then we both scored our back points, and then I overwhelmed the middle. I think it was a 7-5 final. Good game, but I had more bodies, so that ended up being the difference there. My next game, and it was good. It was a good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We had played a practice game before, but hadn't played in the league. My next game against JD was kind of like a rinse and repeat. His deck is very not friendly to mine. He's running a pretty substantial bid. He's running 11 activations. He's got Cassian K2 in the list. So they're just teamworking like crazy. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention 5 DLT captain units with situational awareness and prepared supplies. So literally heavy cover, double dodges almost every single time. Basically makes my spider shots, even if I hit a full boat, go down to more or less 2. Because he's got situational, he can just dodge those crits. And if he doesn't already have the dodge, he just prepared supplies and gets that out. So I had to stay back a little bit more early on. He did score on turn 2. Then on turn 4, I was actually able to sneak in and score just because I was able to. I kind of used one of my Magna Guard to springboard through K2 into Cassian. I used the impervious card or the disengage card, which was oh sorry, I forgot. I'll grab that striker as I'm talking right now. He's bringing up a little reference point to Striker's trying to say that I'm cheeky, but it's actually not true. So yeah, so in the
I
game
think I saw this.
I basically had to sort of I guess navigate really really carefully the DLT gambit of shots, because those DLTs were hitting me really really hard, as they do. But what I was able to do was basically keep zombieing Magna Guard. I did use all my heals up pretty quick in that game. I had to keep a few early on the spiders, and then after that, I was able to just sort of mitigate the damage a little bit. I did have a nice standby shot up with one of my spiders, but it got shot up as well. But suppression was piling up pretty substantial. I think I had one of his units on like 8 or 9 suppression, so it ran away. I was able to kill 3 DLT squads by a little over mid game. As I mentioned, I got into Cassian in the back with Magna Guard, and he piled in a few units, maybe a few too many, and was unable to kill them. My red saves were starting to kick in a little bit late game, even though mid game they weren't so great. End of it, I just had too many bodies on the middle. He didn't have enough. He was forced on turn, basically turn 6, to be doing double actions to move everything to the middle. He lost a couple key units right at the end, right kind of tail end of 5. Just was unable to bring the bodies to the middle, so I was able to get that one, and that was basically just an attrition war between his huge DLT shots and my ability with the Magna Guard. And then after a while, I just started pouring in 4 units of B1s, just shooting white dice nonstop. They weren't killing anything. I did plink a couple, but it was mostly the suppression game that helped me out there. So Kalani was doing Kalani things, just supporting everything that he could in the back. And then I just brought all the mass to the middle, and I won the race to the middle on 5. And I think that was JD held back a little bit. He was in good position early, but because I was able to get some nice plinks, and he did lose a few units from running away, he just didn't have the position. I came around. I had a nice line of sight blocker that I really used early to protect me from Cassian, because he's a beast if he can get shots at Magna. but he wasn't able to kill any Magna on turn 1, and then I just came around the corner after that, springboarded through a few units, and that was the difference for me. So he didn't play anything wrong, and I don't think I played anything wrong either. It was just basically, I think the scenario was my best and probably his worst against me. That was a factor, and I think I had slightly better side in that game. So yeah. Canadian Bear is referencing something. I'm going to bring this up here. So I in the game initially, I lined up a really nice Kalani shot. I call it nice, and it was there was witnesses, and so we agreed it's definitely a TTS only ability. But we're gonna bring this up on screen here. See if I can get these to cooperate. All right, there we go. Okay, so let me just mitigate that for a second and then make this a little bit smaller. So right here, you gotta, this is actually in Kalani's head, is what we're looking at right here. And this was from my end, basically almost at the backside to Graham's end. And Graham moved, this is on turn 2, Graham moved his T-Series from a complete line of sight blocker over into this position. And then if I just get rid of this one for a second, and then I bring this one up here, I'm just going to zoom in, and you can see right just over the shoulder of the B1, there's a little kind of a V shape. I'm not sure if you've seen that, Jace. And there's a little blue, you can see that hard 90 silhouette right there. You really can't see the model at all, but that was a Kalani terrain scope orbital bombardment, right through the ladder, right through the mushroom, right through the accolade, right through the whatever was in front of the T-Series, and then into the T-Series silhouette. So 100% eyeballed this. In real life, this would have been 100% not doable at all. TTS allowed this to happen. Graham and Stryker confirmed. And oh yeah, I forgot, it was a no cover shot. That's right. So because of the sharpshooter too, definitely exploiting that. Unfortunately, I did not kill the T-Series. I did get him to 3 wounds. He died in the next round subsequently, but that was the terrain scope that was happening. So you're welcome, TTS. Thanks for making this happen. So yeah, it was just a fun cheeky shot. So in fairness, I did actually line it up in turn 1. I turned Graham's silhouette on. He didn't see that, and then I was like, oh hey, before I do this, let's just confirm. And Stryker was there to take it all in. So it's fun. I mean, it's TTS. that literally happens. JD and I also had to play around with some mushrooms, and there was lots of navigating around that. So yeah, I thought I would just bring that up because it was just a fun little moment. So yeah, I mean, those Kalani terrain scopes are pretty are pretty bad to at the best of times. It's just such a thing that people are not necessarily paying attention to. I've probably did it maybe 6 or 7 times in the league, get strike teams or things like that. So great for killing generic officers and other things like that as well. So yeah, 100% Rona. It's TTS 100%. Otherwise that would not have happened. So okay, well, that was my last week in Legion. I enjoyed that thoroughly. We are going to get into the league stuff here. I do want to mention, though, both for Friday Night Fights and our ability to do all things, we do greatly appreciate all the folks helping us out. So all the donators that are on there, Bernard, Shawn, JD, Stan, Graham, Todd, Richard, Jacob, and Ryan. I'm glad I got the donations in from JD and Graham before I played them. So thank you very much, gentlemen. So we do appreciate that greatly. No, they're cool dudes. I'm sure they would have still done that. So, and then as well as all the patrons that are on there, both past and present, we appreciate that. Paul and Pink Zeppelin becoming our newest ones. Tom and Zach added the week before. So slowly but surely we're growing those, adding the patrons in there. We do greatly appreciate that. Guys, what are we saving up for currently? Right now we're working on getting some PTZ cameras for Or Camera for the Friday Night Fights. We're 24% of the way there, 720 lofty goal, but you guys are helping us creep up each and every week. Make sure if you guys hit a donation in the show and I miss it, that you give it a shout out in chat so that I can make sure that I get that on the screen. And if I don't, I will make sure I get you up next week. So thanks for that. All right, Jace, the league top 4 is about to begin.
Oh yeah.
The top 4 is about to begin. We do not have any maps selected, so there's no pre-information out. We'll get those map announcements out tomorrow. Players are going to square off. It is going to be 1 and 4, and it's going to be 2 and 3 as they're listed. So we are going to go kind of a seeding system here. So your points were worth something. So that is going to happen. Players are going to play those games. We're going to give them from now till the end of the month. They can get that scheduled in. Hopefully we can get at least those 3 final games. We'll do we won't worry about a 3rd and 4th game, so we'll do a 1 and 4, a 2 and 3, and then we'll play off the top 2 from that. And then that will decide our league winner, and then we'll just erase all the points, start again, and get into season 2. All right, are you ready for the final standings? And then we have another screen after this. So here are the final standings. Final standings are the Terrain Studio, 60 points. Debaticus, 48 points. Mr. Witty, Jake, the mystery is no longer a mystery, sneaking in with 38 points. Had a big round this round. Dan from Down Under didn't get a lot of games in, but still able to solidify at 35. JD's at 34, Calico at 32, Kokazula at 31, Canadian Bear at 29, Emmanuel 28, Scythe Dog 27, OS Dad 27, Justice at 25, big moves in the league. Tyler 25, Biggin 24, Bobster 22, Shawn Death 21, and we got Michael coming in at 21. I won't read all of them, but we got Stan at 20. I'm just trying to think about people that were still playing in this round. Eric was 16. He was still in there. And then a number of other folks. I won't read all of them just because they are on there. I don't mean to draw less attention to you, but there is the league there. So Graham has 37. 37? I don't know if that's accurate. Does Graham have 37? Did I make an error with Graham? I hope I didn't make a Graham. So Jake is saying Graham is 37. I could have made an error. Did I make an error? I hope I didn't make an error. Graham is in here, so he will let me know. I didn't see that on the points because I only had him at 29. So, and let me see here. I sure hope I didn't make an error. His round 5 wasn't entered. That's a problem. So Graham is at 37. Okay, well that will change some things. 31 at the end of 5. Okay, then I did make an error. Well, that's embarrassing. So that will actually have to change some things in there. So what I'm going to do is have to bump all that up. That is a problem because I did not have that on the record sheet. This is why people need to get their information in. Okay, so if that is accurate, then that'll push Graham at 37. That'll push Dan. I guess will get bumped there. But I will tell you this. So I'll have to make an adjustment there. That'll be my bad if that is the case. A lot of research. See where I ended up. Jake's been really interested in that. So I will tell you this right now. Just due to the league and how we want to run it, I will not be playing in the finals. So this won't make a huge big difference. We'll just be bumping myself out of there anyway. So that was pre-decided, just so you guys are aware. So that will just put simply Graham into that top 4, and it won't be a problem at all. He didn't know that. So Dan will still make it, and I will be out. Because I just don't think I want to play in the top 4. I want you guys to all battle that out. So no harm, no foul. That makes the math really easy for me. Dan's still going to get in there at 35, and Graham will just bump up and be in between. The only difference that will make, though, is that Debaticus will be playing Dan, and that means that Jake will be playing Graham. So Michael, I'm sorry. I am actually afraid of, yes, that's fair. That's fair. So I am afraid to play there.
Actually, Michael, I think he's not playing because we heard Magnagard from Light Blue Squad number 3 was tested for performance-enhancing dice. I don't think he's allowed to play anymore.
Yeah, I think there was a DQ there. I think my Magnagard were a little spicy dice performance enhancing. So out they go. So all right, well that's not going to change. You guys didn't know I was not going to be in there, but the only difference is I don't have Graham on there, and my apologies, Graham, for somehow missing that. I literally went from the last screen that we had. So we'll update that, and we'll be fine. Michael's confirming on the dice enhancing. So I did debates at the GT. So okay, fair enough. Yes. So what we'll do for that is Debaticus, Mr. Witty, Dan will make sure that we set up the room for you guys. If for whatever reason we don't have any one of those individuals competing, so Debaticus, Mr. Witty, I guess it will be Graham and Dan. So if any one of those individuals do not want to partake in that top 4, and again, really apologies there, Graham, for not having your points correct, we will just default down. So then based on that, JD would be next, and then Calico Kid after that. And we'll keep going down until we have that. But I assume that many of them are still active, so I would anticipate that they will all still be in there. So okay, so Jake's asking when are the lists due and what's going to happen. So we'll get the list up. You guys can basically self-organize between now and the end of the month. We will not open up the room until we have the list submitted by you. So the quicker you guys get the quicker you guys can get your list to Pally, the better. There is no restrictions for this round. Yeah, so no bans this round. You do not need to play a previously used list. You can play a whole new one, with the exception of Shadow Collective was not in Season 1. Shadow Collective will not be in Season 1 final. So whatever was legal for the rounds now will continue to be legal. No bans, though, on... Fair enough. 48 Throne got us. Yeah.
We thought about that, but then Ryan would have won and we couldn't have that.
You were under par, my friend. You were under par. So, all right. Well, I'm glad that we were able to negotiate me out of the top 4, which was going to happen anyways. People can verify. Jace can verify. I just wanted to I wanted to play the round robin and get as many games in. I will be in Season 2, by the way. I think Jace is jumping back in for Season 2. Anthony will... week put all the bans in effect.
Oh, that would actually be pretty fun. Like,
yeah. Well, got all these only pikes are legal. So, yeah. So no pikes with Anakin. No, there's nothing like that. So whatever was used for Season 1. Now that being said, let's jump over to the Season 2 information. Anthony will be back as well. So Season 2 information, we're going to start on November 1st. That will be the league launch. I will get the information up to register for the league basically within the next day or so. I might even start a little bit tonight. Getting that information in there. So same premise as before, declare that you're in. What we are going to do is we are going to probably make the pod slightly larger. We got a nice recommendation, and I liked it. I enjoyed the last round here with pods of 6. It allowed us to have up to 5 games, but if somebody didn't get their game in and you were in a pod of 4, you were fairly limited on the number of games you had each round. So if we go slightly larger pods, we're going to expand it out to 6-week blocks versus 4. And that's just going to allow you to get more games in. So even if one or 2 people can't get their game in, you still are going to likely get 3, but you got the potential of getting up to 5 games in. So we want to bulk this, the league rounds out for sure. We'll give you 6 weeks to get that in. So you got a reprieve week. That was another request that we had, which is great. And then it gives you a number of weekends as well, or weekdays, whatever you need to do to negotiate that as well. We'll do pretty much everything else the same. We'll bump up the top 2 in the league. We'll kind of keep or I guess if we're going to go 6, we'll probably go top 3. We'll keep kind of the half and half. I think that worked out nicely. There was a really good mix. I had a lot of new people in my last round, although I did have some people I played before, and I got to play a few people in subsequent rounds, Debaticus being one of them, a few times through the league round, and I didn't find that to be boring at all. I actually enjoyed having the chance to re-engage with people, find out how their previous rounds went and how they have been doing that round. So that's how that format will work. Shadow Collective will be eligible. So basically everything, including IG and Din, will be eligible for Season 2, at least at the start. We'll talk about adding things as we go. But one of the things people have been asking about is how the bans are going to work for Shadow Collective. So Shadow Collective will take a commander ban and will take an operative ban. Obviously, we don't have any core bans. And then after core, Shadow Collective will cease to have any bans just because it will be unfair to kind of ban things in the support, special forces, and heavy slot for Shadow Collective. So they will suffer the wrath in the first round 2 and round 3, but after that we're going to leave Shadow Collective alone and allow you guys to get the full use of Shadow Collective. So yeah, so 48 Throne said he had intention. That's the thing. That was one of the requests. I think J-Rod put that request in that kind of like life happens week that's in there. Going bigger pods will allow you to get more games in by average, and then you have a little bit of a longer time frame to get that in as well. So we are not going to be banning 2 core for Shadow Collective for sure. So we will leave the core alone, and that's conducive with what we've done for every faction. So let us know if you guys are going to be in the league. There might be a little round table. You guys can declare that as well, but let us know in the chat comments here. Oh, that's a good. Thank you for asking that question, Michael. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow Maul to be he's going to be actually eligible to be banned in both of the slots if that ends up happening, because he can be in both slots. So I don't know if that will end up happening, because I think there's a little bit more competition for the Capos and the Vigos within the command slot. So I don't know if the people will kind of use their ban on Maul or not, but we'll kind of navigate that. It's kind of uncharted territory with Shadow Collective because they are small. And because the bans can be fairly aggressive. But I think there's lots of options to include Shadow Collective in other forces as well. So if you don't want to go pure Shadow Collective, you might be okay. So for operatives, we could ban Cad Bane 3 times. Yeah, I think that's fine. Anthony, no Cad Bane, my friend.
Yes.
Jace is perfectly fine with that as well.
And if that doesn't happen, I will be very upset.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is kind of how we're going to do that. So good luck to Debaticus, Canadian Bear, Dan, and Jake. And like I said, if any one of those 4 are declaring they're not in, they can let me know. Then we're going to default down the list. I think JD is next up on that. So good luck to those folks. We'll try to cast those games if we can. If we know when they're happening, we'll let you know. Of course, we'll pay attention to the Discords and let you guys know that as well. I'll be in the games for sure. Definitely like to come in and commentate or give some friendly banter with those games. So, yep. So too bad. Magna Guard number 3, Light Blue Squad, testing for dice performance enhancing substances. So he's out. I guess that's what happens. So I have to take. Gotta look after my dudes, I guess. So should have been paying more attention. So, yeah. So that's how that's all working. So let us know if you guys are going to be in the league. I look forward to playing more folks. I'll be playing Shadow Collective, just FYI. So, hit those bands heavy and early. So, okay, Jace, we got some news, some AMG news. We got some drops. This is really all we're going to talk about briefly. Is hey, IGs are out in the wild, so that's fun. That is going to be very, very interesting. Jace, how many IG boxes are you going to pick up? You picking up 1? 2?
Yes, I'm just going to pick up 1.
Yeah, me too. I think the double
you get both models in the box.
Really no. I mean, I usually buy multiples, but this one I'm just like, it's 2. It's good. I like it. I like that. From the standpoint of it doesn't force me to buy 2. I don't feel like I need to buy 2. If I want to do something later on with it, I could, but I think they're going to be generically enough, like painted generic enough, I should say, that really you can probably swap out either pose in either faction and be good with it. So, I might even paint this one myself. It's my favorite color. It's former gray. Yeah.
So it's not getting painted.
Exactly. Primer gray. What do we have happening here? Magna Guard suck it. Oh, jeez, I heard Magna Guard. Magna Guard are good. 48th Ronin. Magna Guard are good.
Real good.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we want a paint tutorial made for this here. So prime and prime. It would be perfectly fine. And then maybe put 3 red dots for the eyes and you'll be fine. So IG units out in the wild. I've already seen people have them. I know we have them in the province, so we will be getting them soon. Also, speaking of things that are out in the province, we got Din at the local stores as well. So I even have some prices on these. What do you think they should be the same price, Jace, or do you think they'll be different priced?
I think the IG will be slightly more.
It is actually. It's about 38 for us and 32 for Din. So even though you're getting, equal number of bases, I guess, you're still going to pay a little bit more for the IG units. So I thought they might have been the same price, just kind of given sort of the box structure. But yeah, it'll be slightly different for us. I don't know if that fluctuates around the globe, but yeah, that's excuse me, the price difference we're going to see here. So I feel like that's so much more, Jace, than they used to be. Like, remember when we used to get like the Veers and they were like $17.99, $16.99 for a single box, and now we're paying. I mean, we are paying double that price, but we're paying double that price for kind of a little bit less, really. Double. Yeah, exactly. So there is that. Yeah. So yeah, Anthony, 38 for IG and 32 for Din and Grogu. So yep. Again, same question, Jace. 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Gonna get 1, 2?
Just 1.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I don't really care if he's eating a frog or doing the hand thing. It doesn't really matter to me. So he's so small, it's not even gonna matter. I think you. Oh yeah, that's right. You do get both.
From what I heard, you might get like both. Yeah, I just don't know if you get get 3 bases. Right.
I mean, who are we actually kidding though? We're not taking Grogu. So it doesn't really.
We've got enough. Yeah, exactly.
We have a new hostage. Right. We have a new hostage marker is what basically I'm saying there. So
exactly.
Yeah, and I don't want to put together a 17-piece model. So frog legs come separate. So yeah, no spear option. Yep, no spear option. Yep, that's Din's one and only pose, I think.
Definitely.
So yeah, the pose is cool, but I agree the spear would have been cool. So only get 1 base for Grogu. It says 2 plastic miniatures on the content there. So yeah, I think that my frog mouth Grogu is going in a green stuff bag. I'm attached. Okay, that's cool. That would be kind of neat. Yeah, onto IG for babysitting. Yeah, that'll be cool. I think you got tons of option on there. Go nanny bot version. So yeah, I like that. I like that for sure. So awesome. Okay, well, we're at the 45-minute mark. We're gonna hit some other things. We're gonna go into the new segment here. Rip through that for about 20 minutes or so, maybe a bit longer. We'll do some roundtable, and then we'll get out of here. So we hit all the other things, I think. We will hit a couple more sponsors, but here's the new segment right here. So it's about making it better. So Anthony, like I said, Sacrificial Lamb tonight, he sent us in a list, actually sent 2 lists. And we're going to have a look at one of them. But if you guys are interested in us having a look at your list, you just got to submit it. We got already one for next week. Your list were our thoughts, basically. So we reserve the right to not be wrong. We will not suggest you take an entirely new list, but we'll talk about upgrades that you have, units that you have, command cards, and the battle deck. So there's a lot to go through. 48 throwing with a real strong chat message there. So can't repeat that, but it is there. So before we get into this, let's thank a couple more people. Back to Basic Aaron at Back to Basics. By the way, Back to Basics Aaron is running a hobby chat. It's his Sunday, so like. I don't know what day that is in Canada land, but he is running a hobby chat. I've linked it up a couple times. If you guys want to check that out, it's cool. He's just there sitting, chatting, working on things. He's got basically an open Google Meets going. You guys can jump in. You can chat along there. Episode 1, Pally was on. He just jumped in and did some chatting. I was sitting in chatting along with them. So really, really cool. So go give that a listen. But while you're doing that, go check out the actual Back to Basics website. I think you guys will like that for acrylic organization and hobby supplies, actually. So we'll also thank Ben, who's hanging out, Dice Time Ben, specifically for the podcast, but also for the recent donation and giveaways of the alt arts. So we did some CAD, Bosk, and Boba giveaways. We have some more. We'll save them for the Christmas special. You guys want to get them, come back and check out more and get those cards, or a chance to get those cards. And then Ben also mentioned that they are working on some new ones. So because we kind of got an in, we probably end up with some of those along the way as well. All right. So Jace, are you ready? We have we got a list. There was actually an audio clip sent in. So somebody actually did a preview of this. So I'm going to give you a listen right now.
They're crap. Crap. Mega crap. I'll give you $200 for all of them.
That seems a little low.
Take them somewhere else then.
All right, so we really don't need to say any much more than that. This list is absolute garbage. 11 activations of garbage, in fact.
We saw the last time Anthony built a list on Friday, and apparently, according to him, that was garbage. So
Yeah, Anthony's
what's the
got to work
difference
on
here?
the list submissions for sure. So, but in the interest of this
Oh
is
yeah.
a new episode, new segment, we will go through this pile of crap. So it is 11 activations, 799, double officer, Boba Fett, double Pike, double Storm, double Strike. Bosk and Stormtroopers. So Anthony at least has been following my advice of redundancy is efficiency. And this is the form that he's put this in. So before we get in, like I said, we'll go through the command cards, the objectives, the deployments, the conditions. I should say that Anthony is 5-0 currently with this crap list in Invader League, and we'll be moving on. So
Yeah. No idea how.
obviously the lists that he played
Dice
against
luck.
must have been worse, or somehow Anthony had Boba or Boss carry himself to victory. I think he's won every game with one model left on the table, likely a bounty hunter. But we've
Probably.
seen some variations of this list for sure. So it's not
We've
12
actually
acts.
seen
It's
this
no good. Yeah.
exact same list on a. Yeah, we've seen this exact list on Friday Night Fights before, and that was against the Tauntauns.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was the crap list that Jace brought. So a good list, played crappily.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at this, Jace. We obviously have lots to look at here. We won't go in depth of every single unit, but does anything stand out to you as, hey, I'm taking this, here's an immediate change that I need to make? Or is there anything on here where you think, hey, it's a little points heavy, might want to move this around? He has opted to go basically a heavy on everything. So he does not have any cheap activations, more or less, snipers aside, but that is a sniper price. So any thoughts there? Or officers? Double bounty. He obviously is running double bounty is good right now with so many generic officers, capos, vigos sitting around out there. So obviously has the ability to reach out and get the bounty, but has 2 bounty susceptible targets himself. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is the thing. Like, the Imperial officers are great. I mean, and when I played against them, I mean, just the amount of aim. He's got Electro Binocs on both of them.
He does.
So handing out 4 aim tokens a turn, really good. I mean, the amount of aims that his units get is crazy.
Yep.
And especially like the Storms with the T-21s, critical 2, re-rolling 3 dice. The Strike teams, with the 50-50. And then even the Pikes with their black dice and their 1 red dice. Yeah, just massive. Now, the one thing, Anthony, he was talking to us pre-show about this list, is his biggest problem here is the Pikes. And while the Pikes are very strong in here, the problem is they don't get the courage buff from
anything.
From the officer.
Yep.
Yeah. So 2 suppression and they could run, which is an issue considering, all of his units are pretty similarly priced except for his bounty hunters, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the strike teams are at the low end.
Yeah, the strike teams are a bit lower.
Yeah. Suggestions coming from chat, which are obviously all welcome, so keep them coming. Ronan's suggesting that you need some capos there on those pikes. Don't disagree that might be an option for sure. Got to find the points to do that. That gets a little bit around that suppression bubble problem. Obviously there. I also think that Anthony saying Vader dropped his 3-pip and they went for the hills. Absolutely. But I think moreover, I think there is ability to pile up some suppression on just simply from shots. One of the concerns that I have in this particular list is that he has multiple 4 wound or less units. Now, granted, the strike teams are probably a little bit playing a little peekaboo, and maybe you don't get at both of them, but he does have several low.
Yeah, playing a little peekaboo, get rid of 3 hits.
Yeah. a little low wound or low wound count activations on here. So if bullied or flanked, which we've, with the prevalence of bikes and speeders, and just a number of other units that can get around and get angles, infiltrating, all that other stuff. Maybe play rapid reinforcements, or maybe get forced into that because he is likely not going to get blue that often. He has potential to get blue, but you know what I mean. There is ways where those low wound count units can come in here. I don't know if Anthony needs to run 11 activations on this. I'm not sure that he couldn't go down to 10 and still have effectiveness with this. What is he going to cut in here? I'm not 100% sure. Do you go one less strike team? Obviously, he's looking for a lot of range 4 poke. He has that there. 48 points probably gets him those capos. I forget what they're pointed out at, but that could be an option for him.
Yeah, there's 16 apiece.
Okay, so he can definitely do that, and then and then have room. So
you could definitely drop a strike team.
Yeah.
The other thing too that you could do is that I was looking at is it really depends on how much you want those E-stims on Boba.
Yep.
But you can also drop the E-stims and Del Mico and fit the captains in as well and still stay at 11 acts. You've got one naked storm then, but that can be your back capper. But again, you already have so many back cappers at this list, right?
Yeah.
And the lethal and the high velocity on Del is pretty strong.
Yeah. So I don't think, fundamentally I wouldn't want to change the core structure of this because, again, he has a lot of redundancy within there. I think maybe even, taking out the storms might be okay. I mean, dropping a strike team puts just one special forces token in the bag, so kind of dilutes it a little bit more if you're trying to pull that single sniper. Getting rid of the Del Mico unit, as you suggested, keeps him with 2 in there, so maybe there's a bit more efficiency there in the token pulling. I don't mind the officers as long as you can keep them both protected and make sure that they're getting efficiency with the support. I know Anthony was saying one of the things he was having issues with was just when those officers go in the bag, if they end up being buried in the bottom, then he doesn't get as much efficiency out of the electro binoculars. Then if you're having to order them, you are a bit more susceptible to pulling other things. So but I think that getting them order tokens to me and having a random pull of either core and or special forces feels a bit better, as opposed to putting them into the bag with 8 or 9 other tokens. So I think if you're going to go electro binoculars and double up on the officers, you need to make sure you're getting efficiency out of them. So that's kind of my thought there. So I don't hate anything that's in here. I think maybe if pikes and suppression are a potential problem for you, then I think that needs to be the problem you address first. Having them stick around to shoot the disruptors and not run off the table at the cost of a Del Mico Stormtrooper unit, I think is an okay trade.
Yeah, exactly. And like Jake's also pointing out in chat, you could switch one of these Imperial officers to a pike capo and have one of each.
Yep, you could also do that.
I mean, they're the exact same point. They're the exact, with the same upgrades, exact same points as the Imperial officer. Still get vigilance, but the issue is you lose handing out an aim because the pike one can only hand out 1.
Yeah, and I do
you
like
go down to 3 aims a turn instead of 4.
Yeah,
and it also helps because once you put the capo in, if you pull that one at the bottom of the stack, like we were talking about before, you're losing less aims and less versatility.
Yep.
When that one shows up near the end versus the beginning.
Right. Yeah, and you don't dilute your bag. You don't really change the core structure either.
Yep, exactly. And it can just it can aid, right? So it can just aid over to the pike. So if you're going to put one of those aims on the pikes anyway, you can aid in that electro binocular, and then you've still given out the 2 aims, same as the officer.
Yep.
Just one of them has to go to a pike unit.
Mm-hmm. Nope, so, I think that's I think that's okay.
I think the capo is the better idea.
Before we jump over to the looking at the command hand and then the rest of the stuff, let's just focus in on for a moment here the bounty hunters. What do you think about the upgrades on both here with O push, scopes, C's on Bosk? You're okay with all that? 118 points seems like a good loadout for that point level for me.
Yeah, I think you always take that on boss. You want the C's for when you need to get him out of there because he's squishy. O
Hmm.
push and scopes I think are just a must. Like
Yeah.
with that many white dice and with surge crit pierce one, you want that, you want aims and you want to reroll dice.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree there. What about Boba with the up close emergency transponders, E-stim situational awareness? He's a beefier Boba, but definitely more cost efficient than he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the up close and personal for sure. Definitely liking that with the independent dodges as well.
Yes.
Now he's he can be really
Yep.
tanky. I feel like Boba is just so much more where he needed to be always, right, than where he used to be. Um, and he just feels like significantly more beefy, and he didn't have to make a lot of changes, but that independent dodge was a great choice for him.
Yeah, independent dodge is great. The prepared supplies, extra dodge is great. Getting dodges from up close is great. Situational, so you can spend them on crits. And E stims just because he won't die. Like this is just a
Yeah,
tanky Boba. He does not die.
yeah.
This
I think I
Boba
said I
sticks
think I
around
said two
forever.
dodges. I meant one dodge. He does have the aim option, but I don't feel like I don't feel like most people are taking the aim on Boba. But the ability to have that arsenal too, take those shots, get that up close and personal dodge triggering. You got your independent
Mm-hmm.
triggering, and then if you need to take a dodge action, you could do that too, right? So there's all kinds of way to keep this
Yeah,
this
be up in
Boba
three
alive.
dodges.
Yeah, for sure. So Anthony indicating that Boba's a hard carry for him. I agree. I think Boba is definitely there. Now that
Yeah.
being said, he's going to draw the most attention likely. But I don't think if Anthony loses Boba, the list collapses immediately. That's for sure. But I think getting early and calculated pressure from Boba, like to use him to pressure early, is definitely a plan that Anthony probably has been pressing pretty good. Bosk, I feel, is a little bit more. I know that the C's is on there for being time sensitive, but I just feel like Bosk is kind of okay, I think, to come out at different points. Boba seems much more timing sensitive to me, and specifically in Anthony's list, I think Boba actually helps to alleviate a little pressure off Bosk, believe it or not. So I think that is one of the things that Double Bounty offers is that you've got that two-pronged threat, and you can almost piggyback off alleviating at least one over the other, if not forcing your opponent to make tough decisions and maybe actually saving both from getting shot or getting all the shots, I should say. So
Oh
let's
yeah.
have a look. Let's have a look at his command cards. They're here. Obviously, Boba heavy again, leaning into that Boba, which I think opponents will lean into those as well. Um, so we're going with Simple Man here, Whipcord, making his way in the Galaxy, Reptilian Rampage. We got Coordinated Fire and Rule with Respect. Jace, you were pointing out earlier that a lot of times people were all about what Bosk's 3-pip there, lying in wait,
Yeah, lying
and
in wait about two
and
years ago when double bounty used to be the thing back then as well.
yeah, and now pretty much it's Reptilian Rampage, and that's
And
about
that's
it.
it.
So yeah,
Yeah.
um, Anthony choosing the Whipcord. I love Whipcord stood the test of time here. I think
Yeah.
Whipcord is an
Still one
amazing
of the best
card
command cards.
for sure. And then we got all three. Um, are these cards legal for Empire Boba? I sure hope so. Can Anthony was
Yep.
playing him, so
Yeah,
um,
40 Throne and they're legal for both.
yeah,
They're legal for both Bobas. Unlike unlike the mall cards, they don't specify a specific Boba. It's just Boba Fett. So
Boba Fett.
you can use the old ones with the new Boba and the new ones with the old Boba, and you can have a 6-pack hand if you want. But I mean, I don't think his old 2 and 3 are really going to get used that much anymore.
Yeah, and
I think
again,
this is the 4 that you take.
yeah, and again with that situational play with Boba here, all Boba's cards really feel like they are okay. What is my given situation right now? Do I need to get out of the sticky situation? Do I need to do a little offensive damage here? Do I need to kind of be a little bit more defensive or potentially again offensive with Simple Man, and then making his way in the Galaxy? Kind of I really like that card again. That's where he's kind of like been in the muck, maybe got out of one situation, now I'm in another. So all of these cards feel really good at bailing Boba out. And I think if you're
Hmm.
going to put Boba in sticky situations, which I think you need to pressure for many of the victory conditions, These are feeling really good. But again, back to that timing, neutral play, Reptilian Rampage is just like, all right, this turn I'm going to be scary. But maybe you play this on a situation where Boba's already stuck in, so it's like, all right, which one are you going to go for? So, yeah, it's I don't mind any of the command cards here. I'm not really sure I have too many other suggestions. Coordinated Fire just seems good in a list with Electro Binoculars in replication here. So, obviously the Pikes are on their own, which I think in this build they always were going to be. But
get that independent.
yeah, the only downside here, and this is not an Anthony specific list criticism or anything like that, but anytime you go four card heavy, or this is stack standard force user situations, anytime you go that heavy, if you were to lose a Boba or have a Boba suppressed or just have bad luck on your Boba, your command hand gets limited real fast, real fast.
Yeah.
And then at an 11 activation, bag will be 10 at that point if you lost Boba. It's going to be a tough hill to climb. So got to get your value out of Boba for sure. I think the cards help with that a lot, but I don't know any other way to get around that. So unless you put more generics in, but then you're kind of, that contingency plan means that you're planning for your Boba to go down, and I don't think that's the situation here for Anthony. So
no, definitely not. Yeah, and it's not nearly as bad as Vader or Luke when you go all in on them, but it's still pretty heavy and a pretty expensive character, so you need Boba to do work. And luckily this Boba's kitted out in a way that allows him to tank a bad save roll or anything, right? And continue the game. So
yeah. I really like the coordinated fire play just before the Reptilian Rampage play as well, so that you can go with a late Bosk full of aims and then open up the next round with a potential double tap from Bosk right away. That's an excellent, I need to get this bounty play. There's like a nice rule with respect to add the extra die right into coordinated fire, right into Reptilian Rampage seems pretty gross offensively. Yep, there's a lot of synergies there in that play, and as a player on the other side, I mean, you can attempt to play around that. Like if you think the Reptilian Rampage is going to drop, you got to go for a 1-pip. The issue being is if you have multiple bounty targets and you got double bounty out there, it's unlikely you're going to save both your bounty targets at that moment. So the same play I was talking about at the start there, where Anthony's got a couple susceptible bounty targets. Bosk and Boba are really good offensively at taking down weak units. Bosk can do it by himself. Anthony, like if Anthony's able to get a Reptilian Rampage off on some soft belly for health bounty target, there's a really good chance that unit's just dying. So
yeah. And the amount of times I've seen Bosk just roll out Natty into like 3 crits because of the surge crit and just pierce one through. I mean, 2 shots, he can easily take out a bounty target with decent rolling. Give him aims, it's even more likely.
I love the fact that they went with Bosk with the independent surges as well, instead of trying to make him even more offensively strong. I just like that he's got that little, again, that the ability to have the surges for the defense is great, and then follow that up with the ability to have that, again, that randomized regen roll. He just feels a little bit more tenuous, but also at the same time I feel a little bit more confident in that he's not just going to get like basically old Bosk, or how Bosk used to play. I felt like you had him alive until his 7 wounds were just straight exhausted, and you almost just felt like, I'll roll 7 dice and I'm just going to die. So if you make me make 7 saves, I will die. Now it's not the case. Now you have the opportunity to spike those surges, and then you feel like, all right, I can get more regen rolls because I'm going to probably keep my Bosk alive a little longer in the game. So I think there's opportunity for that to proc a few more times as well. So
yeah, definitely,
for sure. Awesome. All right. Well, let's keep pressing on here because, like I said, we're breaking these lists down for all the things. So Anthony has correctly or incorrectly chosen intercept, sabotage, recover, and payload. Keep in mind he is 799. So let's just assume that there's opportunity for him to be blue, and he's gonna want to play these objectives. Let's just go real quick. Anything here that you think is, let's say, an auto include with this given list? I can see one that I think is pretty good.
I really like the inclusion of Vaps just because as blue, it makes them come to you and you've got that gun line with those. I mean, as we were talking about with the command cards, playing like turns 1, 2, 3, those three in a row,
Mm-hmm.
like it's tough for someone to come at you. It is real tough.
Yep. I I don't disagree with Anthony on intercept here. He's got the potential with 11 acts to be pretty
Mm-hmm.
wide with this list. He can go in force on one. He can back cap with range, which is always good in terms of being able to back cap and shoot to the middle. Sometimes you get in a situation, if you, depending on the deployment, where you're back capping and that unit just becomes useless. Anthony hasn't built his list for anything; it's just there to be an empty act and kind of back cap, so he has to get efficiency out of that. The pikes being
Yeah.
on the back to mitigate the number of shots they might take in return is another play around that suppression, the problematic suppression situation for them. So I don't mind that. Recover can be good for sure. Obviously, Boba, you do
Speed
put
3
him,
Boba.
yeah, you put him in a vulnerable position, but I think that's a given
Mm-hmm.
anyway. I think any opponent's going to identify that and probably should identify Boba as being a threat. But Anthony's kind of asking the question if he does choose to play this or this does proc. I'm going to put my Boba here. I'm probably going to get this box. You're going to either need to respond, you're going to need to get my Boba fast, and if you don't, I'm probably going to win this game early.
Yeah.
So there is that interesting choice on payload. What do you think about that? With all the tentative range that he's got in there, and obviously maybe he's trying to push with a smaller force in the form of storms and maybe the Delmico and maybe Bosk and Boba. But I'm not sure I love payload.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one just because you've got so many weak units that can just be easily killed. I mean, you've got both officers are pretty weak. Uh, both strike teams are pretty weak. I mean, that's four decently weak units. You don't want to be exposing Bosk too much by making him push a payload. So
Yeah,
that's 5 units you really don't want to have pushing. Um,
yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
Anthony's actually saying recovers is his worst choice here. I don't know about that because I think you can sit with a bunch of four and really pressure a recover point. We'll get into maybe I think I know why Anthony's kind of suggesting this. I would say that Anthony might be okay with recover if he had different deployment options. But we'll look at his
yeah,
deployments and maybe that'll give context to why he's thinking that. So um, I think Anthony, if he was playing recover and he had it in there, I think I probably take a battle lines in this deck. Me personally, I
yeah,
think being wide is okay with the 11 activations again, but I can see how recover he might not love in something like maybe in the major offensive,
yep.
um, or he might not love it in a
Or
rollout.
advanced.
Yeah,
It's not great in advanced either.
right. So I can totally see why he doesn't love that. Again, if I was going to take that, I might just take battle lines if I was going to choose to put that in there. If he doesn't like it, he can take something else for sure. But this is what he has for. Yeah, I get it. I get it. So his thing is, and that's fair point, Anthony. I also feel like that. I think you could be wide enough though to get an R2 kill and potentially actually
Yeah.
cash in on the bounty. So that might be
Mm-hmm.
something I would have considered, even though I totally agree with you. I hate R2 and the wide
Yeah.
deployments do make that. But I think with the 11 activations, you might actually be able to out deploy
Yeah. Out deploy,
R2
put the bounty hunters last.
and go get R2. So that would be my play there, my suggestion anyway. But Long March, no problems there. He's got the gun line. Why not take advantage of that? I can kind of see where Anthony's sort of where he's sort of setting up with wanting to play as long as possible. I think advanced positions again. I might just swap that out for the battle
For
lines
battle
here.
lines.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean the he doesn't necessarily need to be recon scouting out in advanced positions because he wants to play basically back edge and play long edge anyway. I think that he might give up sort of deployment in the middle because Anthony will probably deploy back a little bit. Maybe that's good for Boba, But if you were to play a list that was better and stronger at getting to the middle, let's say a melee unit or something that could close that distance really quickly, I don't think Anthony wants any part of that middle, specifically in early intercept points, recover, or things like that are in his deck. So I might suggest, again, going battle lines there just to give yourself a little bit of room. I get that Anthony wants to be as far away as possible, but again, I think he can do that with the battle lines just as well as he could do it with advanced positions. So again, that's kind of my suggestion there. I don't have much past that. So anything else, Jace?
No, I'd agree with that. I would drop that for battle lines. I like recover in the list with Boba, especially on battle lines.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he definitely has the ability to go pressure like one. He can strong side for sure. And then if your opponent's not as good at going wide, you might have the distinct advantage there, either by stretching them out, or maybe they have to consolidate and go a little bit too strong on one side. You can then use maybe a smaller exploitive force on the other side and send maybe a smaller contingent. But Anthony's got really strong units throughout. He's got those couple weak ones. 2 are supporting his bulk force, and the other 2 are strike teams. So if he's cagey with them or really strategic and says, I'm not really going to expose these, I'm just going to put these over to keep you honest, I think he could do a lot of things by stretching them out.
Intercept on battle lines is also nice for him too, because he's got those weak deployments that he can just throw down early and force his opponent to show which side of the table they're committing to, and can easily either pick to engage them on that side or fight, just clearly claim the other side.
And the battle line scout with the actual strike teams is good. If you have a piece of terrain that you can get up into position, there's nothing to scoff at with Scout 3 coming off battle lines. So you get to those intercept points real quick. So and if your opponent's not willing to put multiple units over there, 2 strike teams, that means your opponent needs to put 3 there to score or kill your strike teams and have more bodies than you. So you can do that, and you could probably put 3 over there real easy. If you want to do Bosk with 2 strike teams, you're like, you got to put 4 over here, otherwise I'm scoring this point. Boba's going to go to the middle with the bulk of the rest of the force, and he could probably quickly score on 2 and 4 and just make sure he secures the points on 6. So options there for sure. All right, last one before we get into a quick roundtable here. Before we get out of here, this is his options for condition cards here. Clear, fortified, hostile, supply. I'll let you go first, Jace. What are you seeing here immediately?
Like clear. I like fortified. Fortified's great for you to just sit back there. He's got big dice pool guns. He's got critical. Fortified's just a solid choice, especially with his red saves on most units. Smartly doesn't include Limb Viz to completely destroy his whole thing.
Yep.
Empire doesn't really like Minefield, which is fine. Rapid reinforcements would not be great for his list. So the only one I don't really like is hostile, but if you look at all the other objectives available, it's better than War Weaver, better than Limited, better than Minefield. So it's the best option that's left.
I would agree with you. I don't like hostile for, again, this is just making a problem of suppression a potential problem. Obviously, Anthony's going to want to hug with his pikes as much as possible, taking advantage of the ability to dodge and keep that cover excuse me, as high as possible. If Anthony can afford to, he's likely getting away from hostile. I also feel like hostile as a drop in there, if you have to take it as a bad option, is sometimes something your opponent is willing to help you out with as well and will cancel away from it. If I was playing against Anthony, I probably might keep it up if I felt more confident with it. If you're playing anything like droids are going to be okay to keep that likely. Other units with courage bubbles, you're playing against Vader lists, they might be okay with that. But again, I think the hostile environment is something that opponents will cancel away from for fear that might be just as impactful on theirs. So,
and it's just a problem of there only being 7 or 8 objective cards to choose from, and it's the best out of the remaining 4 that he's got.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't
want
to go.
Would be way worse.
No, he definitely does not want that. He could go Minefield if he wanted to be strategic. I mean, he's got quite a few red dice saves units, and he has the ability to get dodges. If he wants to hit 48 thrown and saying the shiniest of two turds, that is accurate. If he wanted to do that, if he wanted to be a little bit more disruptive, he could. There is potential for that. I sometimes like Minefield for similar reasons that I mentioned hostile. If I feel it's going to benefit me, I will take it in my deck and leave it in. But it is also something that I feel opponents will often cancel away from. And that is one of the ways, if you do end up being blue, that you can have your red have to reserve one of their cancellations for that if it falls in a slot that they don't like. So I think both could be advantageous. Could the bomb be better? Maybe. The part of what I don't like about hostile environment is that is impactful for the entirety of the game. Minefield, you either can navigate around or it's a calculated risk that you might go into. You can prepare with dodges. Obviously, there's a roll off to see if it goes off, so there is a chance that it could compound and cost you. But it's not something that will impact you for the whole game. And I do find that turns 5 and 6 hostile environment, oftentimes when you got to cross that threshold, there becomes that opportune moment where if I don't make it or if something happens to me here, this threshold I need to cross is catastrophic. If I have additional suppression, I cannot get off at the end of the turn. So one of the reasons why I don't like hostile environment that much. If I play droids, no problem. But in Anthony's list, I might shy away from it.
Yeah, the other thing too is hostile environment is so table dependent. If you roll up to a table and they're sparse on terrain, you're keeping a lot of that suppression.
Fair point, and I like that you brought that up, because additionally, if Anthony is playing this and it's in his deck and he is blue, he is not going to get tableside. Now, excuse me. Granted, you wouldn't know that this is going to fall, but your opponent is probably using the knowledge of the terrain and figuring out, okay, if I got to go to the middle, if I got to do this, if I got to do that, and they're going to pick likely the terrain for them that's advantageous. So maybe they put Anthony with a bunch of terrain, but to be honest, I think he's going to be put in the most open side 9 times out of 10. Yeah. So, yeah, that is fair. Anthony's pointing out there's lots of terrain for sure. Yeah. We're not speaking about this just in the vacuum of Invader League, but yeah.
We're speaking, you show up to a random tournament, you have no idea what tables will look like, you got no idea what your opponent's bringing.
I do fully understand and appreciate when we speak about what league this is going to be chosen for, but general advice about Legion lists, I don't want to just say, well, I know that this local scene, the meta is this, and so you should bring this, or I know that these tables are this. I think that's unfair, and if people are consuming this around the world, of course, which they are, I think it's fair to give generic advice. But yeah, in the context of this, Anthony does obviously have some knowledge of what kind of the conditions will be like. So yeah. And honestly, even if I won the bid, I would choose red. That's fair. I also think that red is good, but we wanted to look at your list and we can't. So all of Anthony's cards, don't worry about them because he's just going to pick his opponent's better deck. So that's the true advice. So as I said before, crap. I'll give you $200 for it. That's where we're at with this list. So there you go, guys. That's the kind of make it better situation. It's not made to poke holes or fun or suggest that anything is bad. We're just merely suggesting things that we might change, we like, things that we would have in conjunction with other things, making little changes. It doesn't mean that it's going to be better. We could change this, and Anthony could go 0-5. He'll blame us, of course, even if he makes one small tweak. But that's not the intent here, is to have a look at it. Can we make it any better for you? Maybe we're giving some ideas that you haven't thought about trying. Try some of them, don't try them. That is completely up to you. Maybe this is not even your list, but you want to give it a go. There's that option as well. So yep, there is that. And yes, Anthony's pointing out that he would blame us. So that is fair. So, all right, Jace, we're at 121. You want to do some roundtable for a bit?
You bet.
All right, let's hit it. Okay, well, here's the rules for Roundtable. We're going to drop the link into the chat. Titles for tonight, we can have 2 people at a time. We'll get people in the queue, so if you call in, I will let you know when we're full, so you guys don't have to call in, but I'll let you know when we clear people out. We will be able to put some people in the green room as well And then if we get to full there, we'll start kicking people out, friendly kickouts. So it's going into chat. Here's the topics for tonight. There it is. Topics for tonight are count me in. You're telling us that you are in for round 2 or season 2 of the league. The other one is I'm getting blank next. You can insert whatever word you want. Maybe it's going to be a boiled hot dog. Who knows? If Worlds was today, you can complete that sentence. You can tell us what you would be doing if you'd be going, or what would be happening there, or maybe you'll tell us you weren't going to go to Worlds. Whatever you want to do. And the last topic is if I was the host, and then you can complete that sentence as well. So an opportunity to tell us how you would be much better at the jobs that we do not get paid to do, that we do weekly. So there's that option as well. That is in the chat. People can call in if you like. That is the rules of the show. If you are Ryan and you are here, you get way less time than everybody else. Everybody else will give you a reasonable timer. So, and then other than that, Jace and I are just going to stare awkwardly at each other as we await some folks calling in. So I seen some people came in late here. Here we got. Never mind. We got Ronan calling in. We'll get to that in a second. All right, we'll put Frank in here. Oh, geez, we got all kinds of people calling in here. We got Andrew. All right, we're full in the queue here, so just hold if you're calling in. We got Andrew. I got to get these guys on screen. Let me figure out how to do this. Push all the buttons. All right, Frank is in. He is there. And next up is Andrew. He's also here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, Frank, you are first. Andrew, you are second. Let's go.
All right. Oh, you can hear me, right?
We got you.
Okay.
You bet.
So, I do have a topic about Worlds. I do have Worlds invite.
Okay.
Congrats.
I decided this year I'm not going to play, even though I have it. I think it's, what is there, like 130 people now that have a Worlds invite or something like that? It seems like a lot.
I think it is a lot. I think it might even be higher than that.
I got mine back in like 2019, so I feel bad even playing in Worlds, to be honest with you. But at the same time, it's kind of at this point, I'm kind of like, I'm over it. Maybe next year if I win another one and I feel good about it. But I will be at Adepticon.
Okay,
so,
nice.
I'll be there to cheer everybody else on if they're going to be there. So
I think I'm going to be there. I think I'm going to try to make the trek. So
yeah, good.
I also have a 2019 Worlds invite that I feel less bad about than you do. That I would like to play.
I also have a 2019 invite that I feel zero guilt about.
Jace was 11 years old when he won his World invite. So
it's more for me. It's more just I'm just kind of over it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I want to do it again. If Ree got an invite, I'd be more happy about it. But yeah, I might try some other games out during Adepticon and cheer on the Legion guys and say hello to everybody. So
okay, I like that. You got any other topics for you hit the Worlds one? You got any others? We're gonna count on you for season 2 or what?
No, I've tried. I've tried so hard, and I feel like I let down everybody every time I get into a group. And I'm like, I play one game and I lose terribly, and then I'm like, everybody's like, "Hey, when do you get time to play?" And I'm like, "I don't."
Okay, so we're gonna count it.
I'll shoot the crap, and that's about it.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna hit you with another one. What do you get next for Legion?
What am I getting next?
Yeah, what are you gonna get? What are you purchasing next? What's your next purchase for Legion?
Din.
Okay.
I'll be getting Din this weekend. Yeah, right. I'll be playing Din and hopefully Damio Boba whenever he comes out.
Right.
But I'll be playing IG and Din until Damio Boba comes out. So.
Okay. I like it. All right, we're gonna leave you. We'll leave you on there till Andrew does his stuff. All right, Andrew, you're up. What do you got for us?
All right. Well, probably getting, like Frank said, I'm getting a Dan, and I'm getting the IGs as well. I'm getting it all. And also, I have in preparation for the furry indoor natives. I have the Ewok village from Imperial Terrain being 3D printed by a friend.
Okay.
So that's coming in preparation for that as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Post pictures of that.
Say again?
Post pictures of that if you can. I've been really interested in that. It looks great.
Yeah, we're obviously doing it bit by bit because there's a lot more pieces to it than I thought.
Yep.
they're like there's like 8 options for like every single piece.
Yeah.
You can go 2 levels, you can go 1 level, you can just go do like a tree on the ground. There's a million and one pieces for scatter terrain, just a huge, bigger thing. So when my friend came to me with the printout, I was like, "Did you know that there was this much to it?" Like, no idea. It's very overwhelming in picking what I wanted. So
Well,
we're doing a few options, and then we'll see where we go from there.
well, we got a table here that's well, that would have been next up, but a Shire project interrupted the process. But we got a table here that's 45 pounds of filament for the Camino table, which I cannot wait to get to, so we can get that out there. So while your village is likely big, I would dare say that this Camino table is the largest 3D printed object I've ever seen. So the one disc is 48 inches around.
Wow.
It is a table, one piece. It is literally ginormous. So I look forward to your Ewok table for sure. But I think you guys will like when we get this Camino inspired project out there as well. So yeah, for sure.
I hear it's a rainy season all year round.
It is a rainy season all year round. It's wet this time of year on Camino. So yeah, storm season. So all right, Andrew, that's one topic. What else you got for us? We know what you're getting. How about season 2? Are you playing season 2?
No,
Oh
nah,
my goodness, you guys!
I, I I don't even have TTS downloaded. I haven't even played a game on it at all.
Yeah, well,
So,
you gotta get in the world of TTS. If I can get in the world of TTS and plays 0 video games, I don't even own a video game console. The last one I have was like the original Nintendo. It's fun. It's a good way to get games in. So at least come out and hang out in the chats. Those are always super fun.
yeah, no, I'm usually a silent observer for all the streamed games.
Fair enough. That's
Yeah, he said he doesn't know video games, but then dominates his entire league through TTS.
Well, I just know how to click buttons on. I only know how to click basically they're little words, and you just click them. It just says attack, and then you just hit that dice roller, and yeah, that dice roller is often friendly. So
I don't think I could get that B1 that close to that ladder.
Oh, the trick is the B1 wasn't the guy; it was the Kalani that was behind. That was inside Kalani's head. That snipe. So yeah, it was pretty fun. So. Yeah.
Well, if you talk to most video game players, pushing buttons is just most people do anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything's happened.
That is true. So I play real life Legion as much as possible. So that'll be happening. So
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Anything else before we boot you off? We'll get some other folks in if they're around. I appreciate you guys calling in, of course. So I don't mean to be rude. So anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for calling in. Frank, I'll send you some more photos when we get some updates.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Cheers, guys. All right, we'll open up the call lines here. Shawn Death saying he just doesn't know about me. I don't eat lasagna. That's true, my friend. That's just not in my repertoire. So don't play video games. Nope, that's also accurate. I don't have time for video games. I basically got to build screens all week.
Doesn't even do barbecue.
I don't do barbecue either. That is accurate, 100%. You guys can even call in about that. It's not a topic on here, but if you want to call in and just tease about that, if you were a host, you might actually eat barbecue. I'm just a host that doesn't eat barbecue, so there's that. So, I think Anthony should call in. I think Anthony needs to have a small chat with
Anthony
Jace.
needs to talk about that.
Yeah, Anthony needs to get some things off his chest. Anthony, I'm putting this link in right here. You got to call in and talk about your worst experience in Legion ever. There's a whole chat line here to help you out. This could be a therapeutic experience for you, and there's a lot of sympathizers in here as well. So I think chat needs to spam OS Dad if they want Anthony in here talking to us tonight. So. It's not just a keyword. It's a true feeling. It's a true feeling. So, Jace, while we're waiting for some folks to call in here, we got Roundtable up for a minute or two. What about you? You're getting Din and IG. I know that. What about if Worlds was today for you?
Yep, I'll be getting both of them.
Yep.
If Worlds was today, that would be awesome because I'd definitely be able to make it. if
Oh.
Worlds is when it actually is, I'm going to have a much tougher time traveling there because it is the last weekend of March, and that's also tax season. So
Shawn Death,
the likelihood of me getting time off and still having a job when I come back is not good.
the much anticipated, which Anthony, we have OS Dad Anthony calling in. This is going to get real.
Yes.
By the way, I also want to point out that Ryan would not be hosting the trophy right now if this was
Ryan
World
would
Season.
not be.
That is funny though. Hey Anthony, you are on the show. You are on the Dr. Phil couch right now, Anthony. Tell us
I need
your
some
woes.
support after that last beatdown. Just
Tell
ridiculous.
us how you really
Shawn-
feel about it.
Sean, the
Which part?
last person I ever heard about on the Dr. Phil show now makes millions selling scandalous pictures of themselves. So I don't really want to see where this is going to go.
Pretty safe to say it's not going in that direction right now. I guess Anthony, why don't you just speak in generalities? I mean, in fairness, we did talk about this from the hop. I've been saying that list might be scary on the suppression, and those Black Suns, wow, they were hitting hard.
Yeah, that was a pretty tough match. Cad Bane one-shot it off the table. Turn
One,
I think it was.
It was turn one, yeah.
And then Panic Boba off the table, turn two. So
turn two, yep.
It was ugly.
Yeah, I don't really think it was stock standard. Boba took a little bit of chip damage, but really the big factor was the 10 suppression that he had to try to get rid of.
Yeah.
I
don't think he had many wounds, but it was the suppression that just put him off the table.
Yeah.
Living on the edge, I'm calling it.
Yeah, well, and I mean, how do you play Boba safe? Is the new rule of Boba? He's got to be at least a minimum of speed 3 in from the table edge. Like, is that the new way? Because it was hard for Anthony. Had nowhere to go with those bikes. The bikes just streaked down, and they went from the short edge of the rollout. Basically, they could have been on Boba, I think, a bit quicker if I would have went on the front corner, but. Rollout was probably helpful for me in terms of getting those buses up a little bit further, but there wasn't really much. And your tack strike, I mean, it came out and did some things, but yeah, those Black Suns just came back at a generous rate with the medics, and I don't really know what else to say there with and the Black Suns. I wasn't even getting the mag dead off. It was just basically range 2 pot shots, but and I think the unsung hero, honestly, in our game, Anthony, was the ability for that quad laser putting out 7 black dice with multiple aims was deadly.
Yeah, no, that's a hard hitting list all the way around. The suppression and like you said, the quad laser, the Black Sun.
Yep.
The bikes with.
I think we lost Anthony there for a second. I might clip right back in here. He's just froze up for a second. We'll just see if it unfreezes there. I'll just pause Anthony till I get him back in the call. But yeah, he was just pointing out about let's let us know when you get back there, Anthony. Pointing out just the bikes were coming down and just taking the shot, being at range 2 for the demoralize, then doing the overrun. All that was pretty impactful. So Anthony, you got us back? Can you hear us? Oh, Anthony dropped out there. We do have Ryan coming in, so we'll put Ryan in, and then we'll see if we get Anthony back here. All right, Ryan, go ahead. Tell us all about your world's play here. Are you like all Frank? Right. Are you just are you relegating donating the world's invite, or what's happening?
No, I'm winning worlds. I get 2 of me. Awesome.
No, nobody can handle
Justice
that.
And I were, Justice and I were talking about this about how when I win worlds and AMG wants to do a interview with me, it's gonna basically be the whole Ricky Bobby interview.
Okay.
And then we also decided that the Terrain Studio gets first dibs for interviews for me. If they would like, and
Okay.
it might actually be an exclusive.
It probably will be exclusive. We'll
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we'll be the only ones probably, if we choose to exercise that option. But yeah, no, that's on there. Hey, I'm gonna get right back to you, Ryan. We got Anthony just back in. Anthony, you want to finish your thought on the bikes there? I didn't want to. Well, I guess you cut yourself off. I didn't cut you off, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe that's supposed to happen.
He got too demoralized thinking about it.
Oh, literally happens again just as he's talking about the demoralized keyword. No, he's back. We got him. Go ahead, Anthony. Anthony's Nova Scotia internet's acting up on him. We'll continue to let him go on then, Ryan.
Yeah, so then moving to the next one, I am getting the limited edition Grogu bottle. No, I'm not. No one's getting that because Asmodee screwed the pooch on that. It's where I heard from my FLGS that it was like the top 10 or 20 stores here in the States are getting it. And then I was just told by someone else on Facebook, he was like, well, my FLGS said we could order as many as they want. So either A, there's a complete miscommunication between Asmodee, AMG, and the stores. B, they totally screwed the pooch on this because now the Facebook page is getting spammed and people are just figuring this out. And C, why the hell do stores get the privilege to break street dates? All day it's just here's Din Djarin, here's IG88. You're like, dude, I gotta wait till Friday, man.
Yep.
Like, what is this? Because I remember FFG was cracking down on everybody who broke street date, and now it's just it's the wild, wild west.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I don't have mine. I just messaged the store. Yes, we have it, and they will sell it, but I won't get it before street date. But I would say that our store that we get our stuff from is diligent on that. So yeah, they'll let me know it's in. Yes, they'll know that they will be set aside for me. No, I will not be getting it before I can. And I wouldn't even.
Mine's the same way.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try unless we were doing an unboxing for like the purposes of production, which would be fantastic if we got the opportunity to do those things. I would find that would be the only I think acceptable reason to kind of be breaking streak date. In that case though, you're doing you're doing a service and exchange kind of thing, right? So but yeah, no, I do agree with you on that point that if there's a street date, it should be a street date, and that should be level playing field for everyone. You and I don't get to control how that works, and that's just kind of how it is. So Anthony, I do greatly appreciate you calling in though to chat, and we'll see if we can get your next time if we get your internet solid, we'll get on and we'll talk a little bit more about that list. So about playing and I liked your list too, Anthony. So I wouldn't mind seeing how many how your next reps go in. So yeah, continue Ryan. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. Worlds, street dates, 100% agree.
Yeah, looking at Bernard's comment is pretty interesting. I didn't watch that video because if you know me, I'm not a huge fan of said content creator.
Yeah, fair enough. To each his own. But Tim's actually awesome guy, so we'll give him fair credit, and he's helped us out for sure. So continue. I won't get into that point.
No,
yeah.
do you know what he mentioned in that?
I don't. I did not see that video, but if Bernard's saying it, I'm fairly certain it's accurate and portrayed as mentioned there. So I can't verify that fact, but if he's saying it, it likely was mentioned. So. For sure.
And is he saying the IP is like the contract is up next year? Is that what he's saying?
Looks like that's what he's articulating there. Again, I can't verify that, but Bernard can probably go into more details. So, is Thursday?
Hopefully he can call in.
Is Friday street date for Din? Is that accurate? Because I see somebody picking up Thursday night. Like I get it. If it would be nice if stores maybe had a little bit of leeway, right? Incentivize their good patrons, their pre-ordered guys, the guys that are kind of keeping the stores in business. If they got a little perk of like, hey, you guys can come get it on Friday night, half a day before everyone else, kind of thing. But it's pre-ordered and paid and like that sort of stuff. I think there is And I think probably to your point, Ryan, and I can't speak for every store, but I bet you those stores are probably using the ability to sell it maybe early as that sort of leverage with their, their good patrons. I'm sure they're probably not like, shipping them all over to in their online orders or anything like that. But the guys that walk in and want to get it over the counter who pre-ordered it the moment it dropped, they're probably just trying to do a little service for those individuals. So, but I mean, who's policing that stuff up, right? Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know my store here locally that I go to, they'll stay open late on Friday nights till like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
So whenever GW has a release, and GW is, we all know, super, super hardcore with their releases, but you can pick it up at 1 o'clock in the morning because it technically is that release date. Sadly, me being that community head, I don't get any special perks for releases. I wish. I've always tried, like, hey, is it in? And it's usually in on a Wednesday, and I'll get a message like, can I pick this up? And all the time it's like, nope, you gotta wait till Friday. I'm like, oh man, like it's just a huge like punch in the nads when guys are just like, look what I got. It's like, cool, like, stop spoiling it for everybody.
That's super ironic that you just said that, because I'm just wondering about these store owners. So 48th Ronin saying his store basically punched him in the mouth. Ryan's talking about store owners punching people in the nads. I'm not exactly sure. Our local guy just that we know just kind of like shakes our hand and says, "Hey, welcome back to the store." You guys have far more aggressive LGS owners than we have, but a lot of fisticuffs apparently.
You guys need some more of those Canadian shop owners.
Yeah, exactly. Ours just say like thank you and please and those kind of things. So
ours aren't as nice here in the States, just being American and all, to where it's all about us and money.
Yeah, barely. So maybe you guys should just be happy with Friday and just take them off the shelf, and hopefully nobody sees you in the store. Because it sounds like it's it's quite the shopping experience in some of these local stores you have. So
I'm just hoping that all the pieces and components are in the boxes this time.
I'm not even gonna open this can right now, so not even gonna open this can. It's
no, thank you.
We'll wait and see. So, but if they aren't, we'll figure it out. Yep, the model will still be fine. And if not, you can just go play on TTS because all the components are there, no problem. So it's not a problem. Striker says, from what I've seen, they are. That is fantastic. Let's just hope that trend continues. It'll be fine. So, yeah, there's that.
That's good, at least.
Okay, I'm going to put the call out one more time if anybody else wants in, and then if not, we'll end off the show there. We got a nice lengthy one in here tonight. I just got an email that I need to deal with straight away. I see as soon as I get off here, so there's that. As is the case typically when I go off the grid for an hour and 30 minutes, somebody needs me somewhere. So that's nice to be wanted. So,
what was the count me in topic?
Oh yeah, just for. Do you even want to know? Let's go back to the final season here. Let's find where Ryan is on here. Oh, right. 3-point Ryan. 3-point Ryan. 57 points behind me. Yes. But Count Me In was playing in season 2. It's starting in November, Ryan, and it's going to run for a lengthy period of time. We should count you in. You should come play Legion. Play 11 or 15 or 27 Activation Empire, whatever it is you play. You should come play that in the season 2. Justice is saying Ryan needs to play in the league. He is accurate.
You know what? I will, if Justice comes up Sunday and plays a game, then I will get into the league.
Okay, well then I can't qualify that he will in fact do that, but I'm going to urge him to do that. So Striker, I see him in there. He should be playing in there. Bernard, he's got to come rejoin. Anthony, hopefully, is not shied away. Anthony, I promise you won't be in my pod every round. That's the only promise I can make for you guys. We will not be in every pod together. So season 2 has banned EWebs. Oh, that's fair. It could ban EWebs at a particular point in time. So
does the updated mod have all of IG and all of Boba's command cards? Like the new ones?
I think it does. I cannot verify that for sure, but because they will be legal in our league because anything hits street date. So basically before November. So IG and Din will be legal. I think they're already in the mod. I think somebody spoke to that last week. And they should be by November. I definitely think they should be if they're not already. So it should be by the time the league starts. That's what Striker's saying. So that'll be awesome. That'll be the intent. And then everyone can use all the things that are released on the globe. So Jake says, yes, it does. So fair enough. Chad is never wrong. So
sweet.
Awesome.
I think I'm going to hit the last one.
Okay, go ahead. Do it.
If no one else is calling.
If you were the host. We're all waiting.
If I was the host. No, I'd probably ask people like what they're painting, what they're working on right now. I think show off the hobby aspect a bit, kind of gets people involved. I mean, that's what got my wife involved. It was definitely not the play style, because if you ask her, I tend to literally pick up the table and throw it at her.
Demoralize her.
Playing games. Oh, it's like demoralize 10. Like
Is divorce a new keyword in this game? Did Riot just introduce like divorce 3? What happened here?
And I mean that's just me being competitive. She's super competitive, but I mean I've like any game I get, I'm gonna give it my best. Like I've had some games to where I don't know if I've told everybody, like I've smashed a 7-year-old in a tournament, showed no remorse. And then
he was a local store. He was a store owner too. Who knows?
Oh,
just.
And then I ended up a few weeks ago playing a high school kid, and we got done in 30 minutes and didn't even finish round 1.
I got to throw these hot takes in. Din sucks. Better hot take. Ryan sucks. Got it. So that's yeah.
I thought Ronan and I were bros.
You guys are
Discord. We kind of hit it off there.
If an After Dark episode wasn't already a thing, and for fear I don't want to be replicating what's already out there, and we kind of want to do our own thing, but which I think the concept is okay. Ryan and 48th Ronin should have an After Dark episode somewhere on some platform where they can where Striker can literally lose his mind listening to everything that you guys say, because I think that would also be the byproduct of that. So Justice
we got someone going for it. Yeah, I dig it. Like,
yeah, I like how Justice will watch your episode but won't actually travel to play with you. So that speaks volumes right there. I will observe this individual, not directly interact.
Yeah. Like, I acknowledge his presence.
Yes.
Depending on who's asking and which context.
Exactly. If I was forced,
I'm okay with
under
seeing
oath.
Ryan.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with seeing Ryan through a screen when I can kick him off whenever I want.
Yeah.
Oh, chat is loving it, because we got a name for it. If you didn't see it in the Discord or in the chat, like we got a name for it.
Yes.
Jake's like, New Year's Eve. Like, you need to take a break.
Yeah.
For like a 24-hour live stream. Yeah, we'll jump in and we'll take over.
This episode will debut February 30th, 2023. Just stay tuned for that. So, Yep, that'll be when that debuts. Like, as in never. Now we got a little fight happening in here. This is great. Chat has erupted into slinging insults. Well, no different than the LGSs in the United States of America, apparently, where they sling fists. Yeah. So, yes, not all of them. I don't want to overgeneralize, but just the ones that Ryan and Frank go to. So, yep, that is happening. So, all right. Well, on that happy note of what did you say? Beating high school kids in 30 minutes and getting punched in the
7-year-olds in tournaments.
Wow.
And then ended up getting punched in the nads. Yeah.
How do you sleep at night, Ryan? How do you sleep at night?
I
know, on the couch, because your wife is not allowing you to come anywhere near after you are flipping tables over there. So,
you're not wrong. Especially we were playing Switch Sports, and she couldn't beat me in anything, so I will probably be on the couch tonight.
Gotcha. Cords wrapped around neck and everything. Got it. Understood. So if Ryan is not here next week, we will send a search party out. They will give a glance at the house. We won't go into detail. No, it didn't appear like he was here, so don't know what happened to him. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks for calling in, Ryan. Hopefully you get your din on Friday. You know you're not getting a special edition Grogu, so I won't even go there.
Yeah.
But when I do, you can tune into the Christmas special and have a chance to maybe take that home. So if I can in fact secure one
Unless
as well.
Ronan and I are hosting.
On the Christmas special, we want to have a joyous holiday here and keep spirits high and not demoralized. I save that for the games I play against Anthony. So
I mean, it'll be a joyous. It'll be a joyous holiday for at least two of us.
that is true. That is true. You and Frank both. But by the end of it, you'll just be all ball humbugging each other, and that'll be the end of that. So, all right. Well, thanks for coming on again, Ryan. We'll boot you out of here. Me and Jace will jump back in the booth. Thanks for calling in. There we go. Appreciate that. All right, Jace, let's jump back in this booth and try to end this off with some resemblance of normality here. So always appreciate Ryan calling in for the candor for sure. So thanks to the other callers that we had tonight, Frank and Andrew and Anthony for calling in. Hopefully other Anthony does well on Invader, so he's moving on. I think single elimination starts at some point. As mentioned, we'll have our single eliminations starting immediately here or within the next day or so. And I think, what do we say we have? So we have Jake squaring off against Graham. That'll be a repeat of our last round. And then Dan, if he so chooses, he will be facing off against Debaticus. So we'll see how that one goes. JD will be standing by. He'll be our first alternate there now that we got Graham's points sorted out. Good thing we have some fact checkers there, which is good. And then after that, we'll have the sign-up information that'll be shared. You guys can start signing up almost immediately, and we'll get rolling with the launch episode on November 1st. So look forward to that. So Jace is going to rejoin the league. Anthony's going to come back in. Seen some other people in chat for sure. Sounds like we might get... yeah, you can watch the rest, Donnie. It's a good one. So, and third month in a row. Okay, so Jake playing Graham for the third time sounds like. So that sounds interesting. That sounds like we got a little bit of a rivalry. Remember, folks, lists are wide open, with the exception of Shadow Collective will remain out for the culmination of this league. So it could be anybody's guess as to what people take, and no bans, which will be super interesting. So, yep. So start polishing up your list. I won't be playing in the next 2 weeks because, like I said, that Magna Guard, third from the right, light blue squad. Thank you. DQ'd me, but I will be practicing some lists. So if you guys want to get any practice games in, hit me up on the Discord. And hopefully we'll see you guys on Friday. If not, we'll see you next Tuesday. If not, we'll see you somewhere on the Discord or in the league. And yeah, we look forward to hearing all about what's going on in your worlds of Legion. So, oh man, I love Strikers just all over Ryan. It's fantastic. He's our buffer. He is our buffer for all things Ryan, which we greatly appreciate him for. So, all right, Jace, any final words for the folks before we send them off?
Nope. Just have a great night, everybody, and continue to get that Legion on.
All right. See you next week, guys. Cheers.